How are you guys doing? Today is Thursday, May 27th, 2021, out here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review the Elite matchups and performances from yesterday, Wednesday, May 26th, and of course, I'm going to preview everything that's going on today as we navigate through the world of sports one day at a time. Yesterday in playoff basketball, there were three big matchups, all game twos. Starting off in Philadelphia, it was the Eastern Conference's 1 versus 8 matchup, as the first seed Philadelphia 76ers hosted the 8th seed Washington Wizards. In this matchup, the Sixers would beat the Wizards 120-95 after the Sixers would outscore the Washington Wizards by 11 points in the first quarter and by 11 points in the fourth. For the Wizards in this matchup, their leading scorer was their elite starting shooting guard out of Florida, Bradley Beal. Beal finished with 33 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists in 35 minutes as he shot 14 for 28 from the field, 1 for 6 from 3, and 4 for 6 from the foul line. And then their elite starting point guard, Russell Westbrook, would finish with 10 points, 6 rebounds, and 11 assists in 29 minutes as he shot 2 for 10 from the field and 6 for 10 from the foul line on the night. For the Philadelphia 76ers, their leading scorers finished with 22 on the night. Their elite starting center, Joel Embiid, would finish with 22 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists in 26 minutes. Embiid would shoot 8 for 12 from the field, 3 for 4 from 3, and a perfect 3 for 3 from the foul line. And their elite starting point guard, Ben Simmons, would finish with 22 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals in 29 minutes. Simmons would shoot 11 for 15 from the field. With this win, the first seed Philadelphia 76ers now hold a 2-0 series lead over the 8th seed Washington Wizards. Game 3 will be played in D.C., and the game will be played on not tomorrow, but on Saturday the 19th. So that's how that series is currently looking. Jumping out to the second series, or the second game 2 of last night, this one took place in New York City in Madison Square Garden as the 4-seed New York Knicks hosted the 5-seed Atlanta Hawks following the Hawks winning game 1. In this matchup, the New York Knicks would beat the Hawks 101-92 after they outscored Atlanta by 14 points in the third quarter and by 8 in the fourth, outscoring the Hawks by 22 combined points in the second half. For the Atlanta Hawks in this matchup, their leading scorer was their elite starting point guard, Trae Young, out of Oklahoma. Trae Young would finish with 30 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 turnovers in 35 minutes as he shot 11 for 20 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3, and a perfect 4 for 4 from the line. For the New York Knicks, their leading scorer came off the bench as their former NBA MVP, Derrick Rose, would finish with 26 points in 39 minutes, shooting 9 for 21 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3, and a perfect 6 for 6 from the foul line. And then their all-star starting power forward from this year, Julius Randle, would finish with 15 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 assists in 36 minutes, as the first-time all-star would shoot 5 for 16 from the field, 2 for 7 from 3, and 3 for 4 from the foul line. With this win, the 4-seed New York Knicks have now evened the series at 1, and now the next game, Game 3, will officially be played in Atlanta, and that game will be tomorrow on ESPN. I'll actually be at that game, so that'll be a very big game. The first home playoff game in years, at least since Trae Young has been there. But jumping out to Salt Lake City for the last game of the night, out in the West, the top seed Utah Jazz hosted the 9th seed Memphis Grizzlies after the Grizzlies right now started off their playoffs 3-0 coming into this matchup. They would pick up their first loss of the playoffs. The Jazz would end up beating the Grizzlies 141-129. In the first half, the Jazz would actually outscore the Utah Jazz, or the Jazz would outscore the Grizzlies by 20 points. That would be the difference here. For the Grizzlies in this matchup, their leading scorer was their elite starting point guard out of Murray State, John Morant. John Morant would finish with 47 points, 4 rebounds, and 7 assists in 43 minutes as he shot 15 for 26 from the field, 2 for 7 from 3, and 15 for 20 from the foul line. Also in the starting lineup, their starting small forward, Dylan Brooks, would finish with 23 points in 28 minutes. He shot 10 for 14 from the field, a perfect 2 for 2 from 3, and 1 for 1 from the foul line. For the Utah Jazz, their leading scorer would be their elite starting shooting guard, their elite starting shooting guard, Donovan Mitchell. who would finish with 26 points 25 points in 26 minutes in his very first game back, alongside a couple of rebounds as well. He shot 8 for 19 from the field, 5 for 10 from 3, and a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. Their elite starting center, Rudy Gobert, out of France, would finish with 21 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 blocks in 36 minutes. Gobert would shoot 9 for 11 from the field and 3 for 8 from the foul line. And then their all-star starting point guard, Mike Conley, would finish with 20 points, 4 rebounds, and 15 assists in 37 minutes. Conley would shoot 8 for 16 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, and 1 for 1 from the foul line. With this win, the 1 seed Utah Jazz have now evened up the series at 2. Games 3 and 4 will be played in Memphis. Game 3 itself will be played on Saturday. That game will be on ESPN. So, of course, that's what to look forward to as well. Those are the 3 games in the NBA playoffs yesterday. Looking forward to what's going on today. Starting from the top at 7:30, it will be the Eastern Conference's 3-6 matchup as the 6 seed Miami Heat will host the 3 seed Milwaukee Bucks on TNT. The 3 seed Milwaukee Bucks currently lead this series 2-0 as Miami looks to at least shorten the deficit in their series. At 10 o'clock, it will be the Western Conference's 2-7 matchup as the 7th seed defending champs Los Angeles Lakers will host the 2 seed Phoenix Suns. This game will be on TNT as this series is tied at 1. The Lakers just won the most recent game between the two. And then last but not least, at 10:30 on NBA TV, it will be the Western Conference's 3-6 matchup as the 6 seed Portland Trailblazers will host the 3 seed Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets most recently won Game 2. The series is tied at 1 as the Trailblazers look to take the series lead at home right here and right now. That is what playoff basketball is looking like going into today. Looking at really quickly what's going on in the on the ice, as we say within the arena, say within the playoffs, but shift the context to ice. First looking out to how these teams are faring because the first rounds are finishing up, and once the first round finishes, these teams will they'll end up playing in their divisional final. Starting off in the Eastern Division in what it was the 1-4 series matchup, the 4 seed New York Islanders would host the 1 seed Pittsburgh Penguins. The Islanders would pull off a 5-3 win, and in Game 6, the Islanders will win this series in 4. So the Islanders have clinched a spot in the very next round of the playoff picture. And then jumping out to the Central, in the Central Division's 2-3 matchup, the 3 seed Tampa Bay Lightning would beat the 2 seed Florida Panthers in Tampa 4-0, so that they could win this series in 6 games. The Lightning have won this series 4-0, so they will advance to the next round. And jumping out to the Western Division's 2-3 matchup, the 3 seed Minnesota Wild hosted the 2 seed Las Vegas Golden Knights. The game would be completely scoreless till the third period, but then the Wild would end up outscoring the Golden Knights 3-0 in the third period to end up tying the series at 3-3. So now this series will go to a Game 7. So that's what the playoffs are looking like following yesterday's games. And looking out to what's going on today, in the North Division, it is the 1-4 matchup as the 1 seed Toronto Maple Leafs host the 4 seed Montreal Canadiens. The 1 seed Maple Leafs now hold a 3-1 series win, as a win here could clinch them a spot in the next round. And then jumping out to the Central, it is the 1-4 matchup as the 4 seed Nashville Predators will host the 1 seed Carolina Hurricanes on NBC Sports Network. The 1 seed Carolina Hurricanes currently hold a 3-2 series lead, as a win here could clinch them a spot into the next round of the playoffs. That is what the Stanley Cup playoffs are looking like. Looking really quickly into what's going on with baseball, outside of the Washington Nationals Cincinnati Reds game that got postponed. Starting off in Minneapolis, the Minnesota Twins hosted the Baltimore Orioles, and after the Twins scored all 3 of their runs in the 6th inning, they would beat the Orioles 3-2 in this matchup. For the Orioles, the start and the loss will go to Jorge Lopez. Lopez would allow 3 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 3. With this loss, Jorge Lopez is 1-6 as a starting pitcher this season. The only player on the Orioles with more than 1 hit was their first baseman, Trey Mancini. Mancini would go 2-for-4 with an RBI and 2 runs as he hit his 11th home run of the season yesterday. For the Minnesota Twins, the start and the win went to Michael Pineda. Pineda would allow 1 earned run in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 8. With this win, Pineda is 3-2 as a starting pitcher for the Twins this year, and the save would be given to Hansel Robles. Robles would allow 1 earned run in 1 inning pitched. With this save, he now has 3 on the year. Nobody on the Twins finished with more than than one hit, but their third baseman, Miguel Sano, would go 1 for 3 with 3 RBIs and a run as Sano hit his 9th home run of the season. With this win, the Minnesota Twins are now 20-29. That is the 4th best record in the American League Central. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 8.5 games in the division. The Twins have now won 7 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Baltimore Orioles are 17-32. That is the worst record in the American League East. They trailed the Tampa Bay Rays by 13 games in the division. The Orioles have now lost 9 of their last 10 games. Jumping out to the south side of Chicago, the Chicago White Sox hosted the St. Louis Cardinals, and the Cardinals were able to blank the White Sox 4-0 to pick up their 27th win of the season. For the Chicago White Sox, the start and the loss will go to Carlos Rodon, who would only allow 1 earned run and only 1 hit in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 10, but nonetheless, he picked up his 2nd loss of the season. Now he's 5-2 on the year. Their second baseman, Nick Madrigal, was the only player that had more than 1 hit as he went 3 for 4 on the day. For the St. Louis Cardinals, the start and the win went to John Gant. Gant would allow no earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 3. With this win, John Gant is 4-3 as a starting pitcher for St. Louis. In their batting lineup, their second baseman, Tommy Edman, will go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit his 3rd and 4th home runs of the season yesterday. With this win, the St. Louis Cardinals are now 27-22. That is the best record in the National League Central. They now sit half a game ahead of the second place Chicago Cubs in the division. The St. Louis Cardinals have won 4 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Chicago White Sox are now 28-20. That is the best record in the American League Central. They sit a game and a half ahead of the second place Cleveland Indians. The Chicago White Sox have now lost 5 of their last 10 games. Jumping out to Oakland, the Oakland Athletics hosted the Seattle Mariners, and the Athletics were able to score all 6 of their runs in the first 4 innings to beat the Mariners 6-3. For the Mariners in this matchup, the start and the loss would be given to Robert Duggar. Duggar would allow 5 earned runs in 3.1 innings pitched as he struck out 1. With this loss, Duggar is 0-1 as a starting pitcher for Seattle. The only player on the Mariners with more than 1 hit was their designated hitter, Mitch Haniger, who went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 13th double of the season yesterday. For the Oakland Athletics, the start and the win would be given to James Caprelion. Caprelion would allow no earned runs in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 4. He only allowed 2 hits on the day. With this win, Caprelion is 2-0 as a starting pitcher for the Oakland A's, and the save would be given to Jake Diekman. Diekman would allow no earned runs in 1.1 inning pitched as he struck out 1. That is his 6th save of the year. In their batting lineup, their left fielder, Seth Brown, would end up going 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs on the day. The only other player with more than 1 hit was their shortstop, Elvis Andrus, who went 2 for 4 with a run. With this win, the Oakland Athletics are 29-22. That is the best record in the American League West. They now sit 1 game ahead of the second place Houston Astros in the division. The Oakland Athletics have now won 5 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Seattle Mariners are 23-27. That is the 3rd best record in the American League West. They now trail the Oakland Athletics by 5.5 games in the division. The Mariners have now lost 7 of their last 10 games. Jumping out to Anaheim, the Los Angeles Angels hosted the Texas Rangers, and the Angels were able to beat the Rangers 9-8 after scoring 5 of their runs in the first and the other 4 in the 5th. For the Rangers in this matchup, the start and the loss would be given to Dane Dunning. Dunning would allow 7 earned runs in 4 innings pitched as he struck out 4. With this loss, Dunning is 2-4 as a starting pitcher for the Rangers this year. Their left fielder, Willie Calhoun, would go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Their first baseman, Nate Lowe, would go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs as Nate Lowe hit his 8th home run of the season. For the Los Angeles Angels, the start and the win would go to Griffin Canning. Canning would allow 3 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 7. With this win, Griffin Canning is 4-3 as a starting pitcher for the Angels this year. The save would go to Raisel Iglesias, who would allow no earned runs in 1.1 innings pitched as he struck out 3. That's his 8th save of the season. In their batting lineup, their center fielder, Juan Lagares, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs. Their second baseman, who in this matchup was Jose Rojas, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs. And then their right fielder, Nick Ward, would go 3 for 4 with 5, or Taylor Ward would go 3 for 4 with 5 RBIs and a run. Taylor Ward would also hit his 4th home run of the season yesterday. With this win, the Los Angeles Angels are 22-27. That is the 4th best record in the American League West. They now trail the Athletics by 6 games in the division. The Los Angeles Angels have won 5 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Texas Rangers are 22-29. That is the worst record in the American League West. They now trail the Oakland Athletics by 7 games. The Texas Rangers now have lost 6 of their last 10 games. Jumping out to Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Pirates hosted the Chicago Cubs, and the Cubs were able to pull off a 4-1 win after scoring 3 of their runs in the second inning. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, the start and the loss would be given to their starting pitcher, Will Crowe. Crowe would allow 3 earned runs in 1.1 inning pitched as he struck out 1. With this loss, Crowe was 0-3 as a starting pitcher this year for the Pirates. Their left fielder, Ben Gamel, will go 2 for 4, and then their shortstop, Kevin Newman, would go 2 for 3 with a run in this game. For the Chicago Cubs in this matchup, the start and the win went to Trevor Williams, who allowed 1 earned run in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 7. With this win, Trevor Williams is 3-2 as a starting pitcher for the Cubs, and the save will go to their elite closer, Craig Kimbrell, who allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 2. With this win, he now has 11 saves on the season. Their elite first baseman, Chris Bryant, went 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs on the day. Their second baseman, Eric Sogard, would end up going 2 for 4 with 2 runs. And then their pitcher, Trevor Williams, would be the last player with more than 1 hit as he went 2 for 3 on the day as a pitcher. With this win, the Chicago Cubs are now 26-22. That is the second best record in the National League Central. They now trail the St. Louis Cardinals by half a game in the division. The Chicago Cubs have now won 8 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Pittsburgh Pirates are now 18-30. That is the worst record in the National League Central. They now trail the St. Louis Cardinals by 8.5 games in the division, and the Pirates have now lost 8 of their last 10 games. Jumping out to Miami, the Miami Marlins hosted the Philadelphia Phillies and were able to pick up a 4-2 win at home after scoring 3 runs in the 8th. It would be a 2-run RBI single from John Berti to give them the lead, and then Jose Devers' RBI single would extend their lead to 2. For the Philadelphia Phillies in this matchup, the start went to Aaron Nola. Nola would allow 1 earned run in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 6. The blown save and the loss would be given to Sam Coonrod. Coonrod would allow 3 earned runs in 1 inning pitched. This is his 3rd blown save of the year, and with this loss, he is now 0-1 as a relief pitcher this year. And then the only player on the team that had more than 1 hit was their right fielder, Roman Quinn. Roman Quinn would go 2 for 3 with a run on the day. For the Miami Marlins, the start would be given to their starting pitcher, who in this matchup was Nick Neidert. Neidert would allow 1 earned run in 4 innings pitched as he struck out 3 on the day. The win would be given to the Marlins' 4th relief pitcher, who is Ross Detweiler. Detweiler would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 1. With this win, Detweiler is 1-0 as a relief pitcher, and the save would go to Yimi Garcia. Yimi Garcia would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 2 on the day. That's his 9th save of the season. In their batting lineup, their first baseman, Jesus Aguilar, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI. And then the only other player with more than 1 hit was their shortstop, Jose Devers. Devers would go 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run on the day. With this win, the Miami Marlins are 24-25. They are tied with the Atlanta Braves for the 2nd best record in the National League East. They both trail the New York Mets by 1.5 games in the division. The Miami Marlins have won 7 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Philadelphia Phillies are now 24-26. That is the 4th best record in the National League East. They now trail the New York Mets by 2 games in the division. The Philadelphia Phillies have lost 7 of their last 10 games. Jumping out to Detroit, the Detroit Tigers hosted the Cleveland Indians, and the Tigers would beat the Indians 1-0, the only run coming from a sacrifice fly in the bottom of the 8th. But other than that, just great pitching from both sides. For the Cleveland Indians, the start will go to Tristan Mckenzie. Mckenzie would allow no earned runs and only 1 hit in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 5 on the day. The loss would go to their only relief pitcher, Cal Quantrill, who allowed only 1 earned run in 3 innings pitched as he struck out 4. With this loss, Quantrill is 0-1 as a relief relief pitcher this year. In their batting lineup, the only player that had more than one hit was their shortstop Owen Miller, who went 2 for 3 on the day. For the Detroit Tigers, the start went to Jose Urena, who allowed no earned runs in 5.2 innings pitched as he struck out 2. The win would go to their relief pitcher and former American League Rookie of the Year, Michael Fulmer, who allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 2. With this win, Michael Fulmer is 4-3 as a relief pitcher, and the save would go to Gregory Soto, who allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 1. That is Soto's 5th save of the season, and the only player on their team with more than one hit was their second baseman, Jonathan Scope, who went 2 for 3. With this win, the Detroit Tigers are now 19-30. That is the worst record in the American League Central. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 9.5 games in the division. Detroit Tigers have now won 5 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Cleveland Indians are 26-21. That is the best record in the that's the second best record in the American League Central. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 1.5 games in the division. The Cleveland Indians have lost 5 of their last 10 games. Jumping out to Tampa Bay, the Tampa Bay Rays hosted the Kansas City Royals, and the Rays would pull off a 2-1 win in the 10th inning thanks to a RBI single from Manuel Margot. For the Kansas City Royals, in this matchup, the start would go to Mike Minor. Minor would allow 1 earned run in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 9 on the day. The loss would go to the Kansas City Royals closer, Tyler Zuber. Zuber would allow 1 run in 0.1 innings pitched as he was unable to strike out a batter. With his loss, he is 0-2 as a relief pitcher this year. Nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit, and a lot of that can be attributed to great Tampa Bay pitching. The start went to Tyler Glasnow. Glasnow would allow no earned runs in 8 innings pitched as he struck out 11. He would not get the decision, by the way, as he only allowed 3 hits. The blown save and the win would go to their only relief pitcher, J.P. Fire-Ison. Fire-Ison would allow only 1 earned run in 2 innings pitched as he struck out 1. That's his 3rd blown save of the season, but right now with this win, he is now 1-2 as a relief pitcher this year. The only player on the team with more than 1 hit was their right fielder, Manuel Margot, who went 2 for 5 with an RBI. With this win, the Tampa Bay Rays are now 31-20. That is the best record in the American League East. That is the best record in the American League. And right now they sit half a game ahead of the second place Boston Red Sox in the division. The Tampa Bay Rays have won 9 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Kansas City Royals are now 23-24. That is the 3rd best record in the American League Central. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 4.5 games in the division. The Kansas City Royals have lost 4 of their last 10 games. Jumping out to Boston, the Boston Red Sox hosted the Atlanta Braves, and the Red Sox will pull off a 9-5 win at home. For the Atlanta Braves in this matchup, the start and the loss went to Drew Smyly. Smyly would allow 7 earned runs in 5.1 innings pitched as he struck out 4. With this loss, Drew Smyly is 2-3 as a starting pitcher for Atlanta. In their batting lineup, their elite right fielder, Ronald Acuna Jr., will go 2 for 4 on the day. The only other player with more than 1 hit was their catcher, William Contreras, who went 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run. William Contreras would hit his 5th home run of the season for Atlanta yesterday. For the Boston Red Sox, the start and the win went to Nick Pivetta. Pivetta would allow 4 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 9. With this win, Nick Pivetta is 6-0 as the starting pitcher for the Boston Red Sox. And in their batting lineup, their third baseman, Rafael Devers, would go 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs as Devers hit his 14th home run of the season yesterday. Their right fielder, Hunter Renfroe, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs as he hit his 6th home run. Those are the only 2 players for Boston that finished with more than 1 hit. With this win, the Boston Red Sox are 30-20. That is the second best record in the American League East as they now trail the Tampa Bay Rays by half a game in the division. The Red Sox have now won 6 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Atlanta Braves are 24-25. They are tied with the Miami Marlins for the second best record in the National League East as they now trail the New York Mets by 1.5 games. The Atlanta Braves have now lost 5 of their last 10 games. Jumping out to Houston, the Houston Astros hosted the Los Angeles Dodgers in what was a rematch of the 2017 World Series. In this matchup, the Astros would beat the Dodgers 5-2 as 3 of their runs would come in the 6th inning. That would be the difference in this one. For the Los Angeles Dodgers in this matchup, the start and the loss went to their elite starting pitcher, the reigning National League Cy Young winner, Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer would allow 2 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 3. With this loss, Trevor Bauer is 5-3 as a starting pitcher for the Dodgers this season. Nobody on the team finished with more than one hit, and a lot of that can be attributed to great Houston Astros pitching. The start and the win for Houston went to Luis Garcia. Garcia would allow no earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 7 on the day. With this win, he is now 3-3 as a starting pitcher this year, and the save would be given to Brian Abreu. Abreu would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 1 batter on the day. That's his first save of the year. In their batting lineup, their elite second baseman Jose Altuve will go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit his 6th home run of the season yesterday. Their shortstop Carlos Correa will go 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run as Correa hit his 7th home run of the year. And their center fielder Miles Straw will go 2 for 4 on the day for himself. With this win, the Houston Astros are 27-22. That is the second best record in the American League West. They now trail the Oakland Athletics by a game in the division. The Astros have won 5 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Los Angeles Dodgers are now 30-19. They are tied with the San Francisco Giants for the second best record in the National League West as they now trail the San Diego Padres by a game and a half in the division. The Los Angeles Dodgers have only lost 2 of their last 10 games. Jumping out to Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Brewers hosted the San Diego Padres, and in a game that went all the way to extra innings in the 10th, it will be an RBI single for Victor Caratini that will give the Padres the run they needed to beat the Brewers 2-1. For the Brewers in this matchup, the start would be given to Eric Lauer. Eric Lauer would allow 1 earned run in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 6 on the day. The loss would be given to their third relief pitcher, Brent Suter. Suter would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 1. With this loss, Suter is 3-3 as a relief pitcher this year. Nobody on the Brewers was able to finish with more than 1 hit on the day, and a lot of that can be attributed to great San Diego pitching. The start went to Chris Paddock. Paddock would allow 1 earned run in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 2. The win, however, would be given to the San Diego Padres third relief pitcher, Austin Adams. Austin Adams would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 1. The save would be given to Mark Melancon, who would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out 1. His ERA sitting at .81. He now has 17 saves on the year, which I believe should be leading the National League and the Major Leagues as a whole. In their batting lineup, their left fielder, Tommy Pham, would go 2 for 4 with a run. The only other player with more than 1 hit was their catcher, Victor Caratini, who went 2 for 4 with an RBI. With this win, the San Diego Padres are now 32-18. That is the best record in the National League West, and that is currently the best record in the major leagues. They now sit a game and a half ahead of the second place Los Angeles Dodgers and San Francisco Giants in the division. The Padres have now won 9 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Milwaukee Brewers are now 24-25. That is the third best record in the National League Central. They now trail the St. Louis Cardinals by 3 games in the division. The Milwaukee Brewers have now lost 6 of their last 10 games. Last but not least, jumping out to Phoenix, the Arizona Diamondbacks hosted the San Francisco Giants. After the Diamondbacks would score the first 4 runs of the game, the San Francisco Giants would come back from behind and win the game 5-4, scoring 3 of their runs in the 8th inning. They would go ahead off of a solo home run from Jason Vossler in the 8th inning. For the Arizona Diamondbacks, the start would go to Merrill Kelly. Kelly would allow 2 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 6 on the day. The loss would go to the Diamondbacks' third relief pitcher, Alex Young. He would blow his second save of the season as he allowed 2 earned runs in .1 inning pitched as he was unable to strike out a batter. Alongside his second blown save of the season, with this loss, he is 1-4 as a relief pitcher this year. Their second baseman, Miguel Rojas, would end up going Josh Rojas would go 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. Their right fielder, Josh Reddick, would end up going 2 for 4 with a run. Their first baseman, Pavin Smith, would go 3 for 4 with a run. And then their shortstop, Nico Ahmed, would go 3 for 4 with an RBI and a run. For the San Francisco Giants, the start went to Johnny Cueto. Cueto would allow all 4 of the Giants' runs given up in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 5. The win would go to the San Francisco Giants' second relief pitcher, Nick Tropiano. Tropiano would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched, and with this win, he is now 1-0 as a relief pitcher. The save, however, would go to Tyler Rogers. Rogers would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he allowed 3 hits and struck out 1. After he picked up his 6th save of the year. In this batting lineup, their first baseman, Darren Ruff, would be the only player with more than 1 hit as he went 2 for 3 on the day. as Slater would hit his 6th home run of the year and Vosser would hit his first. With this win, the San Francisco Giants are now 30-19. They are now tied with the Los Angeles Dodgers for the second best record in the National League West as they trail the San Diego Padres by a game and a half in the division. The San Francisco Giants have now won 7 of their last 10 games. With this loss, the Arizona Diamondbacks are now 18-32. That is the worst record in the National League West. They now trail the San Diego Padres by 14 games in the division. The Diamondbacks have lost their last 10 games to give a sense of where they sit in the standings. Right now, that is what the major leagues are looking like following yesterday's matchups. Looking forward to what's going on today. Today is Thursday. Thursday is known a lot for being a travel day. So, I mean, it'll be a nice collection of games. First off, it looks like the Washington Nationals will resume their game with the Cincinnati Reds that was suspended in about the 4th inning. But in addition to that, there'll be some doubleheaders going off starting off in New York. At 12:10, it'll be the first game of their doubleheader with the Colorado Rockies as Marcus Stroman faces off against German Marquez. Game 2 of this doubleheader will feature Joey Lucchesi and Antonio Senzatella. And there's going to be another doubleheader in New York as at 4:05, Domingo Germán and the New York Yankees are going to host Alek Manoah and the Toronto Blue Jays. The second game of that matchup will be at 7:05, and it'll feature Jordan Montgomery of the Yankees and Robbie Ray of the Toronto Blue Jays. Outside of the New York doubleheader, at 12:10, Pablo Lopez and the Miami Marlins are going to host Spencer Howard and the Philadelphia Phillies. At 12:35, Tyler Anderson and the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to host Kyle Hendricks and the Chicago Cubs. At 1:10, Matthew Boyd and the Detroit Tigers are going to host the Cleveland Indians, led by the former American League Cy Young winner Shane Bieber, their elite starting pitcher. At the same time, at 1:10, Adrian Hauser and the Milwaukee Brewers are going to host Ryan Weathers and the San Diego Padres. At 3:10, Shane McClanahan and the Tampa Bay Rays are going to host Brady Singer and the Kansas City Royals. At 7:05, Steven Strasburg and the Washington Nationals are going to host Sonny Gray and the Cincinnati Reds. That's going to be a pretty big matchup right there. At 8:10 on ESPN Plus, Dylan Cease and the Chicago White Sox are going to host Bruce Zimmerman and the Baltimore Orioles. At 9:40, Chris Bassett and the Oakland Athletics are going to host Shohei Ohtani and the Los Angeles Angels. At the same time, Mac Peacock and the Arizona Diamondbacks are going to host Carlos Martinez and the St. Louis Cardinals. At 10:10, the defending champs Los Angeles Dodgers are going to host Alex Wood and the San Francisco Giants. And last but not least, at the same time at 10:10, Chris Flexen and the Seattle Mariners are going to host Colby Allard and the Texas Rangers. So that's what's going on with baseball. Taking a really quick look at what's going on in the world of soccer right now, because yesterday was the Europa League final between Villarreal, the 7th best team in Spain, and Manchester United, the team that finished as the runners-up in the Premier League. In a game that went all the way down to penalties, the Villarreal would beat Manchester United on penalties 11-10, which would give them the win, the Europa League title, and which would give them birth into the Champions League tournament as the 5th Spanish team to do so. That's everything roughly going on leading into today, as the next big soccer game will be the Champions League final that will be played on Saturday. But with that said, I want to thank everyone once again for listening to all 32 minutes of this piece. Today is Thursday, May 27th, 2021, out here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims. I want to thank everyone for listening to this piece. I hope all is well, and peace out. I will catch everyone tomorrow with another episode of The Elite. And until then, thanks once again for listening to this piece. I hope all is well, and peace out. I'll catch you tomorrow once today's exhibitions and matchups are done with.